And we're live.
Okay, we are on, I believe, Madam Secretary.
Yes,
welcome.
Chair Ross?
We are good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Municipal Revitalization and Heritage Advisory Committee meeting of January 20th. Happy New Year. And here comes the agenda. So I will just do one thing so I can see everybody. Pull that over a bit. There we go. All right, so I will call the meeting to order officially, and we need the approval of the agenda. So you've been sent this in advance. Would somebody like to move the agenda? I see Ashley and I see Heather. So all in favor? Carried. Thank you. So moving on to item 4. I think we have someone on speakerphone in the background, but it's hard to hear what they're actually saying. So moving on to item.
It's the fire chief, Chair Ross. It's just what happens when we share space. So he's going to take it elsewhere. I apologize for that.
Oh, that's fine. I thought it was one of our members trying to get through. So item 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. Anyone to declare that? Hearing none. Moving on to item 5, closed session. No closed session. Moving on to item 6, minutes. 6-1 minutes of the meeting held November 18th, which you have received.
For you, Chair Ross, I do believe that Bruce has joined us. Can we just confirm that?
I see a telephone symbol icon. So Bruce, are you there?
Yes, I am.
There's Bruce. He's joined the meeting. Great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Okay, Bruce, we're actually at item 6-1. We're just about to approve the minutes of the November 18th meeting.
Okay.
Which were previously distributed. So would someone like to move that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to open them. So go ahead anyhow and approve them. I won't be able to vote on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ryan is moving. Ryan Huntley. Anybody like to second? Anna Deltroy is seconding. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Item 7, is there any business arising from the minutes, or will we cover that later in the agenda? Madam Secretary, anything?
I believe everything will be covered as we move through the agenda, unless there was any items that members wanted to bring forward.
Okay. Any member wish to identify something that won't be discussed later in the agenda? Okay, hearing nothing, moving on to reports. Report 8-1 or item 8-1, the BIA update. Heather Clark.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so I can give an update. It's been a busy week with the BIA, but I think we're getting close to our 2022 budget and having that finalized. We did have hopefully everyone's heard. It was on social media and I'm sure going around the village. We did get a significant donation from Kawartha Downs to the BIA of $25,000. So that was pretty exciting. We're gearing up to plan the existing events. We're hoping to add a spring festival. So yeah, we'll be able to enhance those events and add a spring festival. We're also looking at enhancing our marketing and beautification. So hopefully the COVID won't restrict us, but hopefully we're in works of discussing it and planning it out for the 2022. So that was great news, and we are hoping to generate more traffic, people coming into the village, just doing more like monthly, not like big events, but just you know, if it's individual stores doing more or getting more marketing of the stores out. So yeah, we're looking for some ideas. If anyone has anything off the top of their heads, like for monthly or weekly things that we can promote the village, to bring people in. But we are in talks about that. So that's just, it's up and coming. But that's what's on my mind with it right now. Any questions or any comments? Did everyone hear about our donation that we got?
No, I hadn't. That's wonderful news.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's great. I'm not on social media, so I'm always out of touch.
Yeah.
But
Well, it'll be in the Times, I guess. It just hasn't come out yet.
That's great.
Yeah.
Was there some reason that they decided to be so generous, or it was just out of the blue?
Well, they are, the Downs is looking to improve that area. I'm sure hopefully you've heard about that.
Yeah,
There's lots of development going on or in the works of planning. And I think because we're so close to them, they want to support us and help us. So and help the businesses, all the struggles that everyone's been through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Good things are coming.
Yeah.
So,
and any ideas from this group? This is just an informal discussion within the structure of the meeting. Any ideas for things, events that the BIA could do? Heather elicited some comment on that. Any brilliant ideas? Well, you'll be waiting to hear the brilliant ideas.
Yeah. You can always email us your brilliant ideas, and we'll take them up for discussion. So that's fun. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Heather.
Through you, Chair Ross, I just wanted to let you know that Peter Ramsey has joined the meeting.
Okay, Peter, you got to unmute, or your speaker is muted, I think. No, maybe he didn't hear me. Okay. He'll figure it out, I'm sure. Okay.
All
right.
I will.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Heather. Moving on to item 8.2, financial report to Ms. Ayat.
Thank you, Chair. If I could just steal the screen, Cindy, and just share the financial report. There really isn't a whole lot different. As a matter of fact, there's really nothing different from when we met in. Are you able to see that? I'll zoom it in. There. Can you see that?
If I get a magnifying glass, I might be able to.
Yeah, okay.
So you make it small?
Yeah. No, I just hit the wrong
that's
button.
better.
Smarty pants. Okay, so you can see that there really isn't a whole lot of difference. Just because we haven't had a whole lot of expenses between November and December. So we've still, we're continuing on business as usual. Is there any questions? Comments?
Councillor Huntley, you usually have something to say. No.
I think I said it last time, but the numbers.
Okay. Yeah, if nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Yeah.
changed. So,
No.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, unless there are any questions, we'll move on.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Bridgette.
No problem.
Okay. And you're on next. We're into general business now. Item 9.1, the CIP update.
Yes. So I kind of have two updates there that I thought I would provide. So we'll do the 2021 CIP applicants. So we had 8 applications in total for 35,143 requests. So obviously we only have 25,000. So we've had to pare that down. The committee has met a couple of times We have kind of zeroed in on 4 that we think would be really good signature projects. So that'll bring us in under the 25,000. I think we might be about $500 over. But I was thinking I could maybe borrow some money from our operating budget to be able to just kind of offer that to the candidate. So we hope to go forward with a report to council on the 7th of February. So the second update would be with regards to our township-wide CIP. So we have a background report and a directions report that we circulated to our technical advisory committee and our department heads. We circulated it before Christmas. The recommendations from the consultant were to, I'm just pulling up my draft report. So they had 3 options that they were presenting for program delivery. One was on a geographic area. So they took the municipality and they separated it into 3 jurisdictions. So there would be downtown Millbrook, which is already existing. There would be the Millbrook urban area. They called it the Millbrook urban fringe, which is basically the settlement area. And the third option, the third geographic region, was the rural area. So they had said you have 3 options for program delivery. You could do it by geographic area. You could do it a program based. So they added, I think it was 9 programs to the existing 9. So there would be 18 financial incentive programs. So a really robust CIP. So they had said you could do it based on program, or you could do a bit of a hybrid. Their recommendation was that we take a program based, that it be 1 CIP with the 3 regions. We take a program based approach because they felt that there's the most flexibility in directing limited funds to the needs of the community. So funds could either be, you'd have a little flexibility in offering funds either rotated either geographically, or you could really respond to fluctuating problems in the market or fluctuating demand in the market. So those options are before the technical advisory committee. We met last week, had a very fulsome discussion. I had only booked an hour and we went way over. So we booked a secondary meeting for next week to further the discussion. And then those comments will be wrapped up into a council report for the 7th of February, in which case we'll be just asking council to give us their direction as to which way they want to take the CIP. Do they want to take it program based? Do they want to go geographic based? And to give us kind of a blessing to move forward with the development of the CIP.
Thank you.
That's it in a nutshell.
Very, very succinctly expressed. So any questions for Ms. Ayat on this? Yes, Councillor Hadley.
Through you, Chair Bridgette. Like I don't remember whether we discussed it or not, but with the new CIP in whichever form it takes, does it still come back to this committee to be the administrator and the advisor of that program?
Through you, Chair, I believe that would be a direction from council that we would put forward as part of the final CIP. It would be included in the administration portion of the CIP. I think you guys would have to, for lack of a better phrase, I think you guys would have to agree to that. I think there's some differences of opinion as to whether this committee would administer it or whether it be administered by staff. So what you have right now is you as a committee, you appoint somebody to be on the steering committee to review applications. So the administration is kind of I wouldn't say hands off, but I would say it's arm's length maybe. So you could keep that model, or if you want to be directly involved, you could put that model forward. But I think amongst council, just the discussions I've heard, there's some differences of opinion as to how it would be administered. I realize that's kind of a wordy answer, and I do apologize. I guess if I were to give you my direct answer, it would be administered by staff with representatives from this committee.
Through you, Chair. I mean, the other portion that this committee typically is responsible for is recommending to council which of the programs get turned on and off.
Yeah.
Like, would that then go back to staff to recommend what programs get turned on and off?
If I would think so, if we took that model.
I'm making you squirm here because you don't have the answer.
Yeah, you really, well, it's not that I don't have an answer. It's just that the answer, I can put forward a recommendation, but the answer really lies with you. I think Cindy has her hand raised.
Yes.
Through you, Chair Ross, to Ms. Iott, would it not follow the same structure as our current CIP, that the requirement through MMAH is that it goes before council for an annual budget to turn on what the initiatives are, and then would it not follow that same? Does it not have the same ties as the current CIP that we have in place? That's,
I think, what's under discussion with council. That's what has to be debated with council, because I think the current structure is not what there isn't an agreement as to whether the current structure is the appropriate structure for administration.
We can just see clarification. I thought it had something to do with bona fide, or is that the right word, where you bonusing or something, that it had to be a transparent process, that it had to go before council annually, and they had to turn the initiatives on because it was.
Yeah, all of that would be there. It's just whether it's directed by staff or whether it's directed by this committee. And I think the question is whether this committee, how involved this committee is. My understanding from the discussion at council is they're a little undecided as to the involvement of this committee.
Okay, so we need to we will hear from council at some point.
Yeah, I mean, council will give us direction in terms of the background report and direction report to develop the CIP. As part of the CIP, I think we do have 2 council members that are part of the technical advisory committee. When the administration side of the CIP is starting to be developed, that's perhaps where that could be brought forward, Councillor Huntley, if that helps. And we can discuss, come to a resolution as a committee, what we feel is the best approach. Do we keep the existing model, which is working? Or do we look to it just being administered by staff? Do we establish a secondary committee?
So through you, Chair, I think you're talking about a couple of different committees along the way here. And I think one of the important things to establish is, I mean, this committee administers it today. And I guess the question would be for this committee, are they willing to continue to administer it in its new form, before it gets thrown to them and told to?
Yeah.
And I mean, my personal opinion, obviously, I'm part of the controversy on council on this one, is I believe this committee is in the right position to administer this program, even if it does go township wide, as this is a municipal committee. Like, it's not a Millbrook committee, right? And I think that the fear of expanding the CIP program to the entire township is that this committee would be more Millbrook focused than township focused. But I'm in disagreement there, and I believe this committee is perfectly capable of being a full municipal focused committee in administering this program. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that debate will continue. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I think we have attempted to try and bring in members from outside of the Millbrook area. And I know it has been very challenging, but I would agree with you that, I think this committee, I think the existing model is a model that works. So if it's not broke, let's not fix it.
For discussion. Heather represents the non-Millbrook contingent, so.
I think under the new CIP, Heather would be considered part of the urban fringe. Or no, actually, she's part of the Millbrook. You're part of the Millbrook area. I think, yeah. Downtown, the current CIP. You're on mute.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
Sure. Yeah. That's how I kind of feel answering Councillor Huntley's questions.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Any other questions for Bridgette? Okay, so this will reveal itself at some point. I mean, as I think Councillor Huntley's point is very good. You know, we might want to, if we are asked to continue administering this in some way or other, we would like to know what is involved in that. But I agree that.
Yeah, like I think right now your current involvement is that you make a recommendation as far as what programs you feel should be turned on an annual basis, and you appoint somebody to be part of the selection committee who reviews the applications and makes selections based on that. So yeah, I think if you want to continue, I will say it's shaping up to be a really, really fulsome program that, you know, I think can be a really, really useful tool in our economic development toolbox.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. Okay, well, I think we can probably move on unless anyone has anything to ask or say. Okay, moving on to item 9.2. And back to Ms. Ayotte, the 1 King Street tree concern update.
So Wayne was to, through your chair, my apologies.
Yes. No, it's fine.
Wayne was to take a report to council with regards to the tree. He does have to remove it. We obviously had the arborist report. We did consult with the Ministry of Natural Resources. And we sent some photos to them. They actually had said, yeah, might get a year or two out of them, but they said they're pretty much end of life. Wayne was to take a report to council on Monday, but unfortunately Monday's meeting was canceled. So it will go back to council on this Monday, which is
postponed, not canceled.
Postponed, yes,
right.
my apologies.
Thank you, Councillor Huntley.
Yes, postponed, yes, postponed.
You're on your game this morning, Councillor Huntley. You're taking the words right out of my mouth.
So, yeah, and his the report, I believe, is for information, but his belief is that, or his desire is to try and replace it with a native species that is a little further along the growth plan, like is a little bit of a bigger tree, so that it can get to full growth a little quicker. I did add in that, and I offered you guys up, that if a communications plan would be required, that we would be happy to provide some sort of a communications plan to kind of communicate to the community why it had to come down, what we're doing to replace it.
Right. Any questions for Bridgette? And there was, I don't want to open a Pandora's box. There was some discussion, as I recall, at our meeting about whether one or both trees should come down. And Wayne's report is suggesting that both would come down.
Yeah.
Okay, just to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll look forward to that report at the next council meeting.
Mm-hmm. The
postponed council meeting.
The report through you, Chair Ross, if anyone would like to see it, is on the website, and it does list the suggested replacement trees, the species, and et cetera, if any members would like to look at it. Excellent.
Thank you. So we will, I'm sure, if we haven't already.
Well, through you, Chair, I actually have it open in front of me, and it's suggesting a native red maple that's about 4.5 feet tall. So that's what they'll be replaced with.
The little leaf linden. What's that one that says examples provided were little leaf linden?
I like that one. That was the one I like.
Yeah. Or the native red maple. Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. there's nothing else on that, we'll move on to item 9.3, the Dale Parkett signage update. Karen Ellis is going to report on that.
Thank you, Chairman Ross. Good morning, everyone. I'm just here with my committee members to report on our activities. So we have taken the direction of the committee to reduce the verbiage for the signage at the DL Parkett. During our discussions about kind of reducing the words and getting straight to the point, there was discussion about whether we should be tying some part of the signage to more current times as well. So with the draft wording, there was a reference to the fact that Mr. DL got into the whiskey business with a partner, John Houston, and that may be related to the street name Distillery Street, which is in close proximity to the cemetery. But we had the discussion about, is that important? If it is, should it be in? If it's not, should we take it out? And then that begat the question of, should we tie it to why is this area important to us, how it came to be developed, who, you know, so we're here to get some more further direction from the committee. Should we be adding something in that this project was begun in 2017 or whatever the year is, I'm not sure at this moment. It was, you know, kind of pushed forward by the Heritage Committee. It's important because, do you want that additional information on the signage? Do you not? This discussion will also be important for us moving forward in terms of the generation of signage for both Springville and Ebenezer cemeteries.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Alice. You did present a question before us. Could you repeat that? It was, do we want more?
So the question is, do you want the signage to relate to some current information as well as the historic information?
And the current, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, the current information is that the Parkett is owned and maintained by the township, but the committee, and we can do the research, you know, got the whole project rolling in terms of the cleaning of the original monument, the replacement of the grave markers and the pyramids, the work that's done in terms of the landscaping that Peter and Bruce have been so intimately involved with, the placement of the trees that got planted and hopefully have survived our gypsy moth infestation. Like some of that information, just to tie it to the current time. So when people visit, if they're not interested in history, maybe they're more interested in why this is an important part of our community.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so a bit of open discussion. How do people, I mean, weigh in in terms of the subcommittee is looking for some direction. Councillor Huntley.
I guess I'll start there, Chair. I think it's good to have an acknowledgement of what, you know, has how we got there and how we got the signs up, but I wouldn't want to see that content overshadow the content of the historical component of it. Like you rhymed off a lot of things that, you know, we had to get through to get to where we are. I'm not sure all of that has to be there, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I'm just trying to give examples, but I understand.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think, you know, an acknowledgement that this committee, you know, put in, you know, a great amount of work to get this done is fantastic, but I don't think we have to go through listing all the particulars.
Great.
Thank you.
Through you, Chair Ross, just to piggyback on Councillor Huntley's statement, I believe this project also started when we were two committees, and it was a heritage committee as well as a revitalization committee. So, and then we joined as one force. So that would be a lot of details that if we're going to dig that deep in, that we would have to, that could overshadow the history of it. Right? Isn't that right, Karen? Didn't this start way, like when we were two committees?
Through you, Chairman Ross, I believe so.
Yeah. So
the
that's a
time
lot
goes-
of story too. Like we were this and now we're that. And then, you know,
Yeah.
so maybe we could look at if we create a storybook or some form of, you know, history, or maybe even a page on our website that talks about what Mr. Hack does. We could talk about it there as well, maybe. I don't know. That's my thought, throwing it out there.
Oh, I think so. I think Anna and Peter can jump in any point in time. I think our idea was to maybe just put some very basic information on the sign, and then and maybe, as Cindy has suggested, have some more robust information that's available should people want to do the work to find it. And it could be on the website. It could, you know, we could have a pamphlet and have it at the library if people wanted to go, that kind of thing.
Through you, Chair, I mean, we could also join modern times and put like a QR code or something on the sign, and you instantly, it's up on your phone and you can read as much or as little as you like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
Through you, Chair Ross,
yeah.
I will say that the MVT committee is working on that storybooking with Orca as well as the county, and I see Bridgette nodding, so she might even have an understanding of that. So that is very modern and very something that we're researching right now. So that's definitely something we could look into.
Okay. Other feedback for the committee, the subcommittee? Anyone? Any feedback from the subcommittee?
I just wanted to mention first.
Yes, sir. Sorry. I think you have the floor. Oh, somebody's.
Who, me, Bruce? Oh,
I'm confused.
Okay,
Who's
I was
next? Okay. Okay. Carry on.
I was just indicating that I agree with what Huntley said, that it's better to keep it succinct, but it is important that the public know, and even the local public, the work of the committee insofar as publicizing that area. But I think the main effort should be behind publicizing the history of that area.
Thanks, Bruce. Other feedback? Or people on the committee wish to elucidate?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that I do agree again with Bruce and Mr. Huntley in regards to the brevity of the signage. In terms of the QR code, that's a fantastic idea. That really gives us an opportunity to provide more of the history and modern day sort of timeline as to how this all came to fruition. Now, I just had a comment, and I do want to say a big thank you to Karen for her patience and for all the work that she's put into this. And I just also had a question in terms of a timeline. Is there a timeline where we are what we're aiming for, or when we want this to be done by?
Well, if I could respond to that as chair, I would like it dealt with as soon as possible because I'm getting tired of it. So I think we need some resolution as quickly as possible, but I'm not on the committee. So anybody else want to respond? I shouldn't say I'm getting tired of it,
I
but
would
I think we need
suggest
to
as
respond.
early as possible, and perhaps in particular have it available to be installed by the spring.
Is that what the subcommittee was thinking along those lines to the spring?
I think we were planning that once we got direction today, we could resolve the signage issue and then get that in progress and have it installed in the spring if we can get agreement from the committee on the final wording. And then now that we're talking about the other information, the QR code option, then we can work away at that over the next little while as well. Because as I understand it from Cindy, because I'm gonna fess up, the whole QR code thing is beyond my technical abilities, but we can work on information, and then the technical people can work out those details. But the actual signage, I think our goal is to have it, to use the budget in the winter to have the sign made and then have installation in the spring.
Okay.
Great.
Through you, Chair, if you finalize the copy, I can have the signs made tomorrow, and we would install them as soon as the frost is out of the ground.
Thanks, Peter. That's great news to hear. Okay. So now we don't.
What I'm saying
No, go ahead.
is decide on the copy. quickly. Now.
I'm with you. We're on the same page. Trying to look at the copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, there's no need to drag it further and getting into all these other aspects of what you can and you can't do. Just decide what you want to say.
and so
Stay with it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
write the copy.
So we don't have anything in front of our eyes right now, so we can't approve anything, right? Is that
I
correct?
guess not, Karen. I don't know. Karen, have you got anything?
So through you, Chairman Ross, to members of the committee, we do have draft wording. As there was some discussion with one paragraph in there, whether it should be in there, whether we should take it out to make it even more brief. So that's why we're here today, to get the direction. We can finalize it. It'll be back here in February at the meeting for you to say yay, nay, or change this, change that, and then we will go from there. But we are very close.
Okay, so we will see a final draft at our next meeting in February, and we will vote on that. Is that what I'm hearing? We will approve that wording, correct?
That's our intention, yes.
Okay, so that's good. And as soon as that's done, it sounds like we can move quite quickly on the actual signage, the sign itself. So, okay, so sounds like that's all we can do today, correct?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, so can we move on to 9.4 then, item 9.4?
Just through you, Chair Ross, Ms. Ellis, do you feel you need a motion, or do you feel like you're clear? I just have a lot of things written down here. I'm not sure if I'm clear, so I just want to make sure you're clear. So ultimately, is it you're going to bring back a draft and it's going to be more sensitive to the current timelines, or to the history as opposed to the current timelines?
So through you, Chairman Ross, to members of the committee, what I think we're doing is that we're going to go away. We are going to finalize the signage wording. And that wording will include primarily the historic information. There might be a one-liner about the contribution of the committee or committees or something like that. We'll have to work that out. And then we'll bring that back to the committee for approval. As we go along, working on the side, we will generate some additional information for inclusion access through a QR code that will round out the information about the DL Park Act.
Is that enough clarity for you, Madam Secretary?
Absolutely. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. I don't feel we need a motion unless anyone else does, but I think ultimately, just as long as everybody kind of knows what's coming back, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll save the motion for next meeting when we finally approve it. Or do it by consensus. No. All right, thanks. Thanks very much. And thanks to all the people that have worked on, slaved on this act of writing. Okay, so I think going on to item 9.4, just glancing at it before the meeting, is there anything new that we need to talk about in terms of it's all rollovers, isn't it? Or mainly, sounds like a dog treat.
It's kind of, through you, Chair Ross, it is kind of a limbo one because we don't have final budget approval yet. This is what we have from 2021 that we've, kind of where it's at in limbo, what we've asked for rollover. I did remove the items that were already completed and just kind of, did a little tweaking. So I don't know if we want, obviously 1 and 2 we've sort of touched on. I do believe Ms. Ayat could have an update on number 3. So maybe we can talk about a couple different items. I do believe the committee was looking for the subcommittee to report back on a potential location or a follow-up from 70 King Street West on the downtown mural.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's a couple items that I think we should just quickly touch base on, and we can provide an update on the work plan, and then that was my thought. If anybody else has any.
No, I think that's a good point. So so items 1 and 2, is there anything to say about those? I don't think, is there? Dale Monument Restoration is waiting quote, and Springville and Ebenezer. I don't think, is there anything to report on that? Anybody? No?
I think with Springville and Ebenezer, I think that our subcommittee will work on the signage to have a little brief description for those cemeteries as well.
Okay, so that's ongoing. Is it?
I would say yes, and we added that there as well. And we also have the restoration, which the gentlemen are going, like the staff are going to go out and deal with that in the spring. The signage we added is item number 9 on here.
Yeah.
We kind of broke it out, but definitely number 2, staff do know that they need to do the trimming and the hedging when Peter and Karen and I went there and had a viewing.
Okay, great. Okay, Bridget, your hand's up, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. So just a bit of an update on the hiring a contract employee to do the heritage bylaws. Over the holidays, I believe Karen and Cindy were both circulated a program through Young Canada Works that you could, there were 2 programs. One was a summer student and the other was an intern. The intern was, I think, anywhere from 4 to 6 month contract, or 4 to 12 month contract, actually, I think it was. And it was designed for recent grads, university college grads. So I am in the process of submitting an application for it. Specifically spoke to graduates of heritage programs, heritage conservation, architectural design. So I'm just about to hit the send button. What it would do is it would take our 13.5 and it would double it. Which will give us the opportunity to hire the person for, I believe the contract is 6 months. The proposed work plan I've put together is for 6 months. And that the job function obviously would be to review the existing heritage bylaws, review the existing properties to update the status. And then we would update those heritage bylaws. We would also have the candidate review our culturally significant properties and buildings and apply them to the register for potential designation. And then I thought, if time permitted, it might be something that might kind of come out of the whole process is maybe some sort of like a pamphlet. I use the word guidebook, but I think Karen is kind of trying to temper that language a bit, but something that would help to anybody who purchases a heritage building or has a heritage home and they need to do renovations, maybe from a maintenance standpoint, or just trying to preserve the building, what kind of new products that they could use and or new techniques that they could use in order to be able to make those upgrades and still maintain the heritage value of the building. So we probably would hear in March, April, and then I've got a tentative start date for the candidate for May 1st. And they would be with us until the middle of December.
Well, that's great news, and I think I was just going to skip that over. That's a little bit of a that's marvelous news. So,
well, we haven't got accepted yet.
Well, no, so but I mean, it's
save your applause.
Potentially good news. So,
yeah.
Any questions about that? Great. Okay.
No.
All right. So. Skipping on to item 4, Heritage Awards. Bridget, have you received any applications?
No, I have
not.
Dear,
I was promised to send you some. Oh dear, I will do that as soon as this meeting's over.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And
I don't have anything for the mural just as of yet. So
okay.
Bear with me, Peter.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hanging in here.
All right.
Okay, and then on to items 6, 7, and 8, I guess. Can we treat them together or not? Item 6, that's completed, right? So have we kind of covered that already or not?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Yeah,
we
the
have.
2020 projects, quite a few of them needed extensions, obviously because of the COVID closures. So we've given them extensions until I think the end of 2022. The 2021, we are just awarding them now. And I provided an update earlier, and same for number 8, 2021 Township-wide Community Improvement Plan.
Okay.
Just one question, Chair.
Yeah.
Through you to Bridgette. You did mention that the 2021 ones were slightly over the 25,000. I think you said
Yeah.
it was somewhere in the 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there not a bit of a surplus that came out of the 2020 ones that maybe could be applied there versus, reaching in somewhere else?
Yes, we could do that. I'm just trying to think of what the process is, but yeah, I think we could probably try and do that, Ryan.
Okay.
Kimberly would allow it.
Well, the only thing I'm pausing on is just, do we have to open it back up to allow people to apply? It runs in my mind. I raised that question before internally, and I thought and I could be completely wrong, but I thought the response was you need to open it back up to allow other people to apply, unless we have a council direction.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be included in the reports.
Maybe it's something we need to look into. What happens
Yeah.
to the surplus if there is one, right? Can it move forward without
Yeah.
a lot of bureaucracy slowing it down?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Okay.
Just
I will do that.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Thank you. And anything more on item 8? We've sort of talked about that already, I think.
We have.
So I think that's.
Yes.
And then item 9, there are some issues that need discussion around there. So the signage, does somebody want to comment on that?
So I can, through you, Chairman Ross, members of the committee. So we haven't really started on those signage, but now that we have direction on the others, I think we'll follow the same path. And again, not being technically astute, can someone tell me, once we generate this QR code for the DL Parkette, is that easily duplicated so we could have something similar for Springville and Ebenezer if we thought appropriate?
Yeah, each QR code is unique, but it's it's the same effect.
I think it just basically goes to a different page on your website, does not,
Yeah.
Ryan? Is that kind of the idea?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy to do. I mean, the barn quilt people have done it on. I'm not sure they're going to continue, but I mean, I think it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. I'm happy to help
wouldn't
with
be
that.
for me.
Yeah, I'm happy to help with that, guys.
You just got to point your phone at it, Rob, and you'll be fine.
Not my phone, clamshell. Kids laugh at it. They're coming back into style, somebody told me, but anyway. Okay, that's great. So that's it for item 9, I guess, on the work plan. So that, unless I'm mistaken, that completes the work plan. And I think that completes the meeting. We're at item 10.1, which is adjournment. So would somebody like to move adjournment? Please. Thank you. Heather Clark is moving adjournment. I need a seconder.
Or we just keep going. This is a great meeting.
I'll try and second it. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Well, once we go offline, we can have a private discussion. No,